All right, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, then welcome to the channel. So we're going to be talking about Path of Exile in this video and kind of going over choosing your class, picking what to play. I see a lot of videos, a lot of shorts, a lot of things popping up. I'm being inundated with them. I'm sure you are too, especially if you're watching this video, with comparisons between Diablo 4 and Path of Exile, and trying to do this whole thing of, well, if you like this character in Diablo 4, you should probably play this character in Path of Exile. And in some cases that's kind of true. In most cases with Path of Exile, that's not the case at all. Any character in the game can use any weapon class. Any character in the game can use any skill gem. The only things that are tied to these specific characters are their ascendancies and where they start in the passive skill tree. If you see people telling you, hey, you should be starting with a warrior if you want to be a tanky melee character, yeah, that's probably for the best, but Blood Mage also seems like it could be a really good tank. Me personally, I'm going to be trying to build a tanky Blood Mage crit caster because that is what looks entertaining to me. This thing keeps popping up. It's bugging me. So when you're thinking about what you want to play, archetypes, character archetypes are something to be considered. But with Path of Exile, what it really comes down to is, can you make it work? And that's on you as the player. You on the player, especially when the game is coming out on Friday. It's coming out in 2 days. This is the opportunity for you as a player to find things that nobody else has found, to find different builds, to figure out how the game works differently than other people have. It's your time to explore the game. Now, do I think if you want a smooth, clean experience, if you want to make a melee tanky boy, you should probably go with a warrior? Yeah, that would probably be smart, but don't think that you're bound to play a warrior if you want to play that style. You can make any character in this game work the way that you want, and I know that you do get stuck at a certain point in the passive skill tree where you start at, but one of the cool things about it is there's a lot of very maneuverability within the passive skill tree, especially in PoE 2, where they allow you to choose which of the 3 primary stats you want to take. So you choose one of the travel nodes, as I think they're calling them. You choose a travel node and you decide, is it going to give me strength? Is it going to give me dexterity? Is it going to give me intellect? Me currently right now, I'm leveling up a totem build on PoE 1 just on standard to play with one of my buddies. And like I'm finding it very frustrating that I can't do that because I need more dexterity so I can refund some of my points so I can put them elsewhere. Can't do that until I find some more damn dexterity. I think the main thing I'm trying to say, and the main reason I'm putting out this video, and it's not going to be a long one, it's pretty short, is when it comes to Path of Exile, you should be looking at the ascendancy tree. You should be looking at which ascendancy best fits the archetype you personally are trying to build. I wasn't sure what I wanted to build. I was pretty confident it was going to be a Blood Mage because the archetype really does, the ascendancy, it really does seem interesting. It's a cool little concept. You know, you can double your HP pool, you get health orbs dropped on the ground, and you're using blood magic. You know, you're using your life to cast your spells. I've had builds like that in PoE 1. It seemed to work out fine. I'd really like to see how it works in PoE 2. The thing that is kind of pushing me away from that is I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be rolling with the Blood Mage, but at the same time, I don't really care. You know, the monk, the aspect, I think it is, of Chayula, looks really good for a Chaos build. You know, but that doesn't mean that you can only make a Chaos build on that class. Yeah, the game is there. Like, this is one of those games. One of the things I loved about Diablo 2, my bear source build. I had a bear that did lightning damage, that was a sorceress, that just smacked things if they didn't die by getting close. It's a cool, unique, weird, out of left field build. Those are the type of builds that entertain me, that I think are fun. That's not necessarily what I typically run with, obviously, but the option being there is one of the greatest appeals to me for Path of Exile. You know, the fact that you can completely brick a character because you built it wrong, that kind of punishing gameplay, that punishing mechanic. I come from a time in Diablo 2 where there was no Den of Evil stat reset thing. If you fucked up your build, it was done. Delete your character, roll a new one. It just, that's how it was. It was annoying, sure, but I mean, that's just how the game was, so that's how you played. It made you really, really pay attention to what you're doing. Now, that kind of thing isn't necessarily going to be true in Path of Exile 2. The fact that you can buy passive respec points with gold is a huge benefit to allowing people to really maneuver their build in the way that they want to play it, change their build up. You're tired of playing this way? Okay, well, maybe another way will work for you. Maybe you want to try out different passive nodes. Maybe you want to restructure the entire build and go a completely different route with that same ascendancy, because we can't reset ascendancies yet. And you can do that. You can, like, you're not stuck or bound to a certain play style because of the character that you pick. So my advice to you, there's going to be a link in the description of this video that is for the Ascendancy full release that we have gotten. They released all 12 Ascendancies today with all the nodes, all the big notable nodes, the ones that really matter, available for us to see, so we can start kind of planning out a little bit. I'd suggest taking a look, read through, at least browse it a little bit. See what kind of abilities fit the playstyle that you want to play. And then from there, start looking at skills that will work with that play style. And then you decide, okay, well, this is the character I'm going to play, and you build it. Now, more often than not, if you're going with a funky kind of odd build, you're not going to be able to immediately start out at that point. You start out with something else, level up a bit, rotate into it. It's fine. Play the way that you want to play. Pick the character that you want to pick, and just have fun. Don't compare the character picking to Diablo games. The build customization, the build depth is so much different between the two that there's really no comparisons to be had. The way that I explain the depth in build choice in Path of Exile to my friends, Diablo 2. Diablo 2's depth was a pond. It was deep enough to drown in. It was deep enough to get lost in. But it was a pond. Diablo 3 and Diablo 4 are closer to like a sink or a slightly deep puddle. Path of Exile is like the fucking ocean. If you can dream it, there's probably a way to make it work. Whether it'll work well or not, that's something different. But it'll probably work. So I say, have fun. Find what you think is going to be the most entertaining and do it. You want to make a melee tanky sorceress? Figure out how to make it work. You can do it. It's Path of Exile, baby. Stop thinking that, you know, the other thing is the big difficulty scaling. It's going to hit people like a fucking hammer, and it's going to be glorious. I can't wait. I can't wait for people to see that there's a level of depth to Path of Exile that is so drastically different from any other ARPG out there. And when they get to the end of the campaign, if they make it that far and they start getting into maps, they're gonna, that's, as I tell people as I get them into PoE, you gotta deal with the campaign. Just suck it up. I know it might not feel great. It might feel amazing. For me, from day one, Path of Exile 2013, it's felt amazing for me. But I'm a big D2 guy. This was D2 upgraded. All those things that you wished for and hoped for that you would find in Diablo 4, especially if you come from Diablo 2, you're going to find it in PoE 2. So hopefully we'll see you out there Friday, and we'll get some loots. Go check out that passive or the ascendancies. See what you want to go with. Have some fun. Get your brain working.